This program is brought to you by Connie Dodo of Connie Dodo Realty Group, 119 Pleasant Street, Methuen. When you want results, don't make a move without us.
Welcome to Dodo Real Estate View. As many of you, the viewers know, that people ask us to do certain topics on our show. And one of the topics that people have asked for is to understand more about gardening, garden shops, and so forth. So today we've invited Wendy and Jim Laschis here of Laschis Garden Shop here in Methuen. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, just a little history on Laschis. I didn't realize myself that, and I've known you for some time, I go there and buy my produce and flowers and so forth, but I didn't realize that you started in 1980 in Reading.
Yep, we did.
And you've been in existence for 33 years.
We have, yep. Started in Reading, my brother and I, and we moved to Methuen in 1991,
Yep.
and we've been there ever since.
Yeah. What made you get into gardening, a gardening shop, and then adding the produce? I know that's been a bonus to your establishment.
Yeah, well, my father was in the produce business, and I grew up in that business. My uncle was in the flower business in Reading. We started selling fruit off a truck in Lawrence when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. Wow. And kind of got used to that and kind of liked the produce business and used to help my uncle out in the flower business and ended up doing it.
Wow, so you kind of married the produce and the flower
Yeah.
and the gardening all together, and now
Guess
you
we
and
did.
Wendy are the two owners of the property here at the Laschis Garden Shop. I mean, every time I go in there, you try to get to talk to either of you. You're always running around doing something, so it's a hectic place. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a great place to go in. It's you know, it's a nice place. You get everything you need. But talking about the plants and all the flowers and so forth, do you actually do the planting of them, the seeds? I mean, how do you?
Yeah, we do. We do the planting. We start plants from seed, and we also buy in small cuttings, and we start them that way in the greenhouses.
Well, that's a process. I mean, when do you typically start? Is there a certain time you start certain plants?
We start initially the end of February, and we kind of carry it on through there depending on what it is. And we plant from then right through June and July, really.
Yep.
Now, your hours of operation, I know there's a time period that you're not there, but most of the time.
We're open middle of March until Christmas Eve. We're open. The only day, actually, I don't think we have any days.
No days off
No
from
days
that
off,
point,
no.
right?
No.
Right.
January and most of February.
Yeah, those are the 2 months that we're off. We're closed.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Then we gear up
You need
and
a
get
little
ready.
break, right,
Yes.
to get
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your highest season for?
Annuals. That's the
Yeah,
busiest.
The month of May is definitely the busiest.
Biggest. Yeah.
Planting season.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about, because a lot of people don't, I'm not real good with annuals, the perennials. I mean, what's the difference? What do you, I mean, just to tell people, give them maybe some tidbits on what they need to know or how to plant or do things with them.
Well, the annuals are, you just plant them, once, and then they die away. But then the perennials, you kind of mix into your garden, and they come back every year. So, and there's a wide variety of different perennials, and it's mostly like the color. The annuals bring a real lot of color to your garden, but you always have to replace them every year.
Okay.
It's neat.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, you go there, and you're so happy when you go there because you see the colors, you see the greens,
yes.
and it doesn't matter the season.
Yeah,
At Christmas time,
at
the fall,
Christmas,
you
too,
always get
yeah.
different stuff happening.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the most popular plant or a flower, I mean, that you sell?
Probably be mixed combination planters and containers, I think, hanging baskets.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
have gotten real popular. Different things in the same pot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way
Okay.
people can just either, like we have patio pots and they have a nice combination and they don't have to, people don't have to worry about what they're going to plant. They just come in and buy it and they just stick it right into their pot. So it's instant color all the time. You know, they don't have to wait to grow. We do all the growing and they do all the enjoying.
Right.
So.
And they flower right through the summer
Yep,
into
all
the fall.
summer. Yep. That's one of the questions we get from a lot of customers. Is this going to flower all summer? And they do. The annuals in your pots will flower all summer long. It's usually, you know, when the frost hits, then they'll die. But the annuals are pretty good. You know, they just keep on going.
If somebody wanted to give their home, you know, some nice curb appeal,
Yep.
what's a easy, low maintenance way for them to go, would you say?
Well, I think it depends on if it's shade or sun. You know, there's a lot of nice shade plants. We have begonias and coleus, and you know, and then we get into the sun, which was like a wave petunia is beautiful, all the colors in it, and we have osteos, which is like a daisy. There's just
and
so
the basic
many.
marigolds,
Oh, yeah,
petunias.
yeah.
No. But they give you a color right through the whole season.
Yeah.
You know,
All of those.
which is different from perennials
Right.
that come up every year, but they only flower for a short time.
But when you do a perennial, you can get a perennial that blooms certain times of the year. Like, you know, you can get some that start June, and then that'll peter out, and then you get another one. So that'll go in July and August. So you always have some kind of a color with the perennials. You know, they don't all just stop. They continue. You just get different ones. Mix them into your gardens. It's really nice.
How about some shrubs? What's some good shrubs that are low maintenance that would give nice curb appeal?
Right now, there's new roses, and when people think of roses, they think they're difficult. But there's roses, they're called knockout roses, and they come in pinks and reds and yellows, and they're disease resistant. They flower right through, sometimes even November if it stays relatively
Really?
warm.
Yeah.
And they're great. Yeah, they don't really require much.
Is it like a bush or is it?
It's a bush. Yeah,
Yes,
they
it
call
is.
it a landscape rose.
Right.
It's a shrub rose. Yeah.
They're beautiful. They come in like a single petal or flat, and then they come in a cluster. They're real easy, real easy.
That's nice because it gives color too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just not
Yeah.
in terms of privacy for homes, sometimes people want to have, you know, the green fencing, which is nice. You know, what plants or bushes would you suggest to give some of that?
There's hemlocks, which grow nice, and then there's arborvitaes, which is
Yeah.
real nice. That's
Yeah.
actually one of my favorite because it always stays in that nice shape, and it's got a nice color, and you know. But the hemlocks are good because they kind of grow wide, and they
And they can tolerate more shade too. If you have a
Yes.
shady spot, they're better.
yeah.
If you have a sunny spot, then you could use either hemlocks or arborvitaes.
Yeah.
How about roots? I know there's always, people get concerned about the root base of some of them. I mean, does that,
I don't
not a
think
problem with that?
No.
Not with those? Not like some of the big oak trees. I know we've
Right,
seen in
right.
some houses
Yeah.
that they've had issues with their, you know,
Going
storage systems and
yeah.
all that.
Right. No,
Unfortunate
that's
stuff
not really.
with those.
I
So
haven't
those
seen
are
that
good.
being
That's
an issue.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, because people always, they ask that, well, is that going to
Absolutely.
impact it? So
absolutely.
that's good. Now, would you go out and plant for people?
Well, we don't really plant
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah.
We can give them all kinds of advice. We
Yeah.
can help design stuff for them. You know, we do have some landscapers that we do work with that we would give you their name, but no, not really.
No. We don't leave
You really, I know, every
We're
time
there
I'm there,
all
it's
the
like, okay, I always see you both scurrying around.
Yeah,
It's like,
no.
oh my goodness, one's going this way, one's going that way. But
You'll find us there all the
right,
time.
you are. I know you are.
Yeah,
How big is your land there? In
Well, we have 18 acres
yeah?
total.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have some greenhouses and
We probably use, I don't know, 5 or 6 for the retail area and maybe another 6, 7, 8 for the growing
For the
facility.
growing,
Yeah.
wow.
Greenhouses, and we grow plants outside.
yeah.
Wow.
We have mats of mums. We grow all our own mums for the fall, and they're beautiful mums. And,
Oh, yeah.
and they're just out in the field. They're, really nice.
That's incredible. So I mean, do you ever take pictures of the field?
Yes, I
Yeah,
have
we do.
That's
pictures
like,
of
yeah,
them.
that must be beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Really.
When they're in color, it's just a flow. I always go into the greenhouses and take pictures of all right before Mother's Day, before we start bringing the stuff down, and the greenhouse is just full of color. It's just beautiful.
So yeah, well, I mean, this year it's earlier, obviously
Yeah.
Easter and all that. So
Right.
you must have had a good season with that, with all the lilies and
Yeah,
all
those
that
are-
stuff
yeah.
happening, huh?
Those will be coming in.
Yeah,
and- yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you need a little sunshine
Yeah,
For the lilies.
for everything.
for everything.
How about orchids? I mean, those are kind of tough to.
Yeah, we don't
You know,
really
yeah,
do too
those
much.
are tough. Those are
Those
tough
are
ones,
tough,
huh?
yeah.
It's like
We
you
leave
always
those,
see them.
yeah.
I know there's a lot of talk about the burning bush there. I mean, what's the controversy on that? What's some of the issues?
Yeah, it was very popular, probably one of the #1 selling shrubs at one time. And I don't know who, but someone claims that they're too invasive, that they're not a native plant and they're too invasive. They spread throughout the area and I don't know, they just don't think that they're a good plant to have anymore.
Because they'll take over your whole garden? Is that-
Yeah,
mean,
I don't really think they do, to be
They
honest
don't?
with
Yeah.
you, but you do see them like along the highway and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they're pretty.
They're beautiful. I
Yeah.
have one in my yard.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
they're pretty.
Yeah.
And
Just
they're
one of those
colorful.
things that someone
Just
felt
came
that
up
way,
with
and
it just overtakes.
yeah, someone with some authority.
Yeah, and we still get calls for them all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't
yeah.
imagine, because I see them.
Yeah,
I can't
and
imagine
very
people not.
hardy,
Very
very. It was a great plant,
Yeah.
great fall color, and
Hopefully they'll bring them back someday.
I know it. I mean, maybe they'll come up with something that's
maybe
not
they'll
gonna...
be on an extinct list or something.
Right, and then it will be this big thing, right?
Yeah.
Burning bushes, if you have one, you're up there.
Yeah.
You don't have it, forget it. In terms of plants in a house, what's a good plant?
My favorite is a pothos. Easy.
Philodendron type plant.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. The leaves are nice. They come in like a variegated. That's just one of it's the easiest plant, I think, to take care of.
And indoor plants aren't really that popular anymore.
No.
They're not.
Yeah.
Like they used to be.
It's more
More
outside.
outdoor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, when we have people that want to put their homes on the market, we always
Yes.
talk curb appeal.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean, and
right.
that's
Right.
like #1 is to
Absolutely.
get the
Yeah.
the
First
nice
impression.
landscaping. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's even just with a little bit can go a long way.
Sure, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people that I'm sure come to you, like you said, you have landscapers that have contracts with you, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people come and learn from you to say,
yeah.
Right.
what do I do? Help me
To
how I
design.
should plant
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
right? And that really, because I've referred people that I've had customers like, go down there, they'll give you good ideas. Let's
Yeah.
get the front of your house looking good.
Yeah.
So, I think that's real important.
Yeah, very important.
Other suggestions that you would have for people on not a lower end budget to give their front curb appeal?
I still think annuals are really the
Yeah.
best bang for the buck because they're really not very expensive and they just last
Yeah.
the whole season.
They
You
get
know?
nice and full,
And annuals are, petunias, impatiens, begonias, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of care for those, frequency, hot water, feed them. I mean,
I mean, any plant you have to water, of course,
Yeah.
and some fertilizer, and they have slow release type fertilizer you can put down and kind of takes care of itself, and they're pretty easy, really.
Yeah, very easy. That's what I like, the Osmocote type. It's where it's a time release. So you just put it down, and then when you water
It
it,
slowly
it's-
releases
yeah.
fertilizer in the soil.
So when you water it, it fertilizes. When it rains, it fertilizes. It's slow. So there's always some kind of a feed in there. It's important to feed your plants. You know, if you don't feed them, they're just not going to do as well.
Right.
You know,
I have
that's
to
what we
tell
do.
you, I always thought that my indoor plants at the office, and people can attest to this, is I overfed them.
Oh,
I gave them too much of that blue food.
Like the
whatever,
Miracle-Gro,
Yeah,
yeah.
I killed a few because I overfed them. But anyway, you know, this show is to give people the right, you know, what's fable, what's fiction, what's the
Right,
real deal
right.
here. And that's why, I mean, in terms of, like you said, the release
Yeah,
of
I love that.
I mean, I never knew that, but I've heard different things on mulch on beds, that it's not good, and then some people say it's good because it's more of an insulation. I don't know, what's your viewpoint on that?
Mulch has kind of changed over the years. Originally, there was bark mulch, and there were a few different kinds of bark mulch. There were hemlock mulch, pine mulch, spruce mulch, and they were the natural color of the bark of the tree. Hemlock would be a reddish color. Now they've gotten into coloring mulch. So they can make any color you want, really, but they don't really have to use bark to do that. They use a lot of wood products to do that. And those are the things that aren't good for your
Right.
plants or,
Okay.
your house.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
important thing is to
gotta-
not get the colored?
The important thing is to get bark mulch.
Right.
Okay.
If it's bark mulch, then it's bark,
Okay.
which is beneficial.
Okay.
If it's mulch, and mulch could be plastic, it could be wood, you know, mulch is kind of a catch-all word.
Right.
So a lot of times when you see
Wow.
bags of mulch in discount stores, you know, for $2 a bag or 99 cents a bag, look at the bag. The word bark is not on there.
Right.
It says mulch.
Okay.
You know?
And that could be wood, and you don't want wood near your home.
Yeah, because they could grind up 2x4s or pallets or anything like
Pallets
that. You
and
know?
stuff like that, and they
Right.
put it all through
We make sure we carry bark mulch.
bark. Yeah.
And we know termites like wood.
Termites,
That's right.
carpenter ants,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Right. So
And
that's
wood
not-
actually robs the nitrogen out of the soil, which will affect your plants.
That's, I mean, that's
a lot of
a
people don't know
would know
that.
that.
They don't know
Exactly.
that.
And that's
No.
that's key, because then be saying, why are my
Right.
trees and bushes and plants dying? And that's probably a reason for
Part of
it.
the reason, yeah.
Wow.
Could be, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they didn't get it at the proper nursery.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
if
right.
you buy trees that aren't properly, if you will, brought up under the right conditions,
absolutely.
Absolutely.